Hey everybody, Cam Capital here with a video on AMC and GameStop. I apologize for not having videos over this weekend. Had some family emergencies to deal with and decided to step away from the weekend from YouTube and just relax, especially coming into a new month and start the week fresh. So here, first video back, AMC closed down 971, down 3.2%. GameStop was also down today. We'll see that here in a second. But we had somewhat similar scenario setting up for AMC and GameStop when we go out to the daily charts. But AMC basically from last Tuesday been selling off 12.22. Yesterday, or I should say Friday, we did have that fight around the $10 level. You know, we got this doji hammer here around the 99 level and was able to close it right above 10. Close it $10.01. You know, hitting that $10 strike price, and we get this quick gap up first thing pre-market. That's pretty typical. I mean, GameStop's done that AMC and GameStop as well, but they usually get that spike when they do hit on those option strikes, when they are the high volume spot, get above, and then we, have a pretty decent pre-market, honestly, right? So we get a bounce here off the standard dev, right? So standard level is not going to be there on the 5-minute chart. Back then, as it's moved over time, but that area probably corresponds with a other longer term time frame, probably on the hourly. But here, we move sideways, had that downturn last week, so we do have the 200 on top of the 50, 22, and the 9 EMA, and that play takes over right off the open. We get one push above right before the open. As soon as the bell rings, massive selling volume comes in, pushes us down. We get a bounce here, basically off 9.8. One retest of the $10 area. Basically get an inverted hammer, and then somewhat of a kill candle here. Not on high volume, but really couldn't get a retest of that 200 EMA in the 5-minute, and then the 50 acts as basically the resistance all day. Pushed it once here into the close, into power hour, and in the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, tried to push it as well, couldn't get through it. Hit a low 961. You'll see the orange line here. Moving down at the bottom of the frame, that is from the daily triangle, right? So it's this descending line of resistance. It was 1, 2, 3 times acted as resistance. We get the breakthrough on the gap up over last weekend, right? So from Friday to Monday last week, move up higher, and then profit taking occurs, and we move back down. So you can see here we're really close to retesting this. Obviously on the minute chart it looked like we did, but these lines were actually drawn on the daily, so the daily is where they are in play. And you see we're kind of here. Tomorrow we could open and test this rising support line, as we didn't get all the way down to test this here on the daily, right? So we have this half deviation mark, and also the 50 EMA here sitting at 9.5 as support below. So we'll look to see if this rising support line from the triangle now acts as support, right? So from the bottom here, one touch, look for that 3 touch to confirm it as a trend. If we zoom out and look at volume, you see where we couldn't get across 10 this morning. A lot of volume between 10.5 and 9.75. Consolidated up there, close at 971. So now if you want to push up higher, we're gonna have to get volume to push it through that level. You see there is kind of a lower area of volume here between 975 and 950. So then 950 is the next high mark of volume on the chart. So it looks like that should be an area where buyers will act as or look to support the price. If you go to the weekly here, just unlike GameStop here, pretty big red candle towards the bottom, another red candle starting today. Also have the 9 EMA here on the weekly at 9.54. So I think this really could sell off down to that 9.5 level tomorrow. Look to test it and look for buyers to come in and see if we can get a reversal going to start the month of May. Now I'll go to GameStop. We'll start at the 5-minute, and you'll see here chart's pretty similar to AMC for today at least, but we got the move on the 26th, so Tuesday, when AMC was also up. The news after for GameStop was the offering, getting rid of their debt. See, we're moving in the triangle here, kind of lopsided on the 5-minute chart, but somewhat of a similar action pre-market, right? So we get to close on Friday 173.51. That was a decent area. Just from my video on Thursday, I can link it, but I was talking about if it closed above 171, that would make a bullish engulfing candle on the weekly, and you know, that could be a sign to look to go long on the weekly. Obviously today may have invalidated that, but you know, still got 4 days left this week to see how we can respond. Somewhat similar to AMC, right? We got the moving averages here, but a little bit better action pre-market. We got the 9 and 22 up on the 5-minute chart, but still that first candle comes in, a lot of selling volume pushes us down, get the bounce off 171, and then push back up into moving averages, retest, can't get through the 200, big sell off, gets us down to the 162, got one bounce, the 162 area, you see that on the daily as an area using these standard D levels, got one bounce there, sold down to the 160, right, psychological level, whole number 160, got a bounce again, push back up into 50 EMA, can't get through it, close at the 9 and the 22 crossover at 162.20, down 6.5% today, so down quite a bit. Another reason, you know, we could have this sell-off today was that GameStop announced that they were putting in distribution centers on the East Coast, you know, so they can get out product quicker. And you know, obviously, anytime you have a news event, it could be a sell the news type event where there's always a differing opinion or a market reaction that doesn't go as well as people think, right? You think distribution center, great, they're going to be able to get out product quicker to customers. Maybe it's not what people are expecting, and we sell off. Nonetheless, down here at 160. If you go out to the daily chart here, you see still we haven't been able to close above this descending line of resistance. You know, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Poke through it on Friday, close beneath it. Today, open above it, close beneath it. So I've actually thinned the line a little bit to make sure this is a reference for myself. And then here we see using this lines were drawn on the daily chart as well. But here we're getting pretty close to using this line as support again. The line's not as exact as AMC, as we've had this cross at the bottom, but 1, 2, 3, potentially 4. So, you know, I haven't really heard of saying fifth time is charm, but you know, this line could act as support, could not. Moving forward, you can see we crossed the 9 and the 22 on the daily as well. The 50s down here at 154.94. So look to see how price opens tomorrow. And like I've talked in the video, right, this triangle concludes on Wednesday. So look to see if we can open tomorrow, maybe in the 162, just open flat. Look for this line to act as support. Maybe we get a bounce. Maybe we get a failure. They'll get a bounce to 154. Gonna kind of have to follow the tape. Price action tomorrow. As you can see here, volume. So obviously, if I take out the 100, it'll skew it. But just here, still a lot of volume at that 186 level, above acting as shelf. Down below, you know, that 150 area is the next increase in volume. But, you know, we've moved up off hammers the last 2 times. So one is probably more of a spinning top. But you know, have got wiki, not a long wick here today, but we did get one bounce off the previous time. You know, a similar big red candle off this support line. Maybe we'll get a big green candle tomorrow. See how aftermarket and pre-market acts for GameStop. And then lastly, just look at the weekly chart to see what I'm saying here. So this candle, the open and close are both outside the open and close of the prior week. Means it's an engulfing candle. We'll look to move higher. See, we got a small gap up, but pull back on price and sitting basically pretty close to the 9 EMA in the weekly, 159.57. So look to see if that comes into play too for the rest of the week. So that's what I got for you guys. Appreciate you taking time to watch the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.